I'm 100% dead on serious when I said that this water filter is a game changer for my survival preps. This is that one thing that I needed to complete my preps and actually make them functional. And I didn't even know I needed it until I found out this thing even existed. So, listen, I tell people this all the time. Forget about prepping for apocalypse now and nuclear war and Yellowstone exploding and massive extinction level events, right? Focus on prepping for natural disasters. And if you take care of that, then you're going to have a solid foundation in place if you do want to prep for when Putin fuels up the nukes and destroys the entire world, which you're probably going to die anyways. Water preps in this context are vital. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Access to clean drinking water is basically the difference between life and death. When they shut off the water, well, that's when the water crisis arrives. From terror attacks on the water supply, boil advisories, emergency shutoffs out west, we see what's going on with the fires. The odds of your water supply being impacted are increasing every single day. Hello, I am Captain Obvious, and I'm going to state a very obvious fact. Clean drinking water is really important for survival. Without it, you only got a few days before things start to go horribly wrong, and you end up like this guy. So here's the problem I encountered, and I didn't know there was a solution to it until I discovered this, right? Because let's think about this for a second. I'm collecting water from the sky. I got a ton of water out there in rain barrels. Now, do I really want to drink that water? Probably not. I guess I should filter it, right? And that's what I was like, okay, fine. I got my Sawyer Mini. Well, guess what? The flow rate on the Sawyer Mini sucks. So I'm going to be there all day trying to filter out just enough water to have a decent amount of water for myself. What if I have to filter for a family, for others? What if I'm in a situation where I need to be able to get in and get out and filter that water, right? And I'm exposed and it's dangerous. Do I want to sit around waiting for hours for my Sawyer Mini to drip, 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 drip into my container? Probably not. So here's the solution: this water filter. And when the company emailed me, and I'm for some reason having dyslexia or something going on in my brain where I can't really pronounce the name of the company, they emailed me and they're like, hey, we got this portable water filter. Would you like to review it? And I'm like, interesting. I've never even seen anything like that. But yeah, send it and I'll see what it does. So let's talk about kind of high level how this works. This portable self pumping filter system uses reverse osmosis to remove virtually all the impurities with nanoscale membranes, which have these little microscopic pores, which literally filters this down to like 0.00001 microns, which is like nano size, which is like super, super, super extra small. That's my scientific definition. I'm not a scientist. So that's just the reverse osmosis filter. But there's another filter in here. It's a two-stage filtration system. This hybrid filter removes all the sediment. So think about like dirt, rust, stuff like that. And while that is going on, the activated carbon absorbs all those impurities, such as chlorine, organic compounds, stuff like that, which massively improves the taste and quality of the water. So what does all this mean? Well, basically, you can use this to filter any water, any freshwater source. So lakes, streams, swamps, retention ponds, coffee if you wanted to. And yes, even urine. You can use this to filter urine. And I'm sure this makes Bear Grylls extremely happy because he doesn't have to drink his own urine anymore. And guess what? In a survival situation, neither do you. And we'll check that out a little bit later in the video, but that was actually pretty rad. Let's get into the fun part of the video, actually seeing if this works. And added bonus, since I'm such a survival scientist, I have a water purity meter here. So we're going to test the water before and after it goes through this system. So I got this jug filled up from my rain barrel, and we're just going to go ahead and get things hooked up. And you're going to see it's pretty simple. Of course, this is USB-C charging. So that means you actually have to charge it beforehand. I just thought it came charged, and then that didn't last very long. So first you got to do is hook up the intake hose. Takes all of about 5 seconds. There is a pre-filter attachment that goes on the end of the hose to like filter out any sort of like dirt and big chunks of sediment. I don't have it on here because I would actually need to take it off to fit it in the jug, right? But you can take that off put it back on, whatever, not a big deal. So now, important to note here, we have two hoses. Blue hose is wastewater, non-potable water. You can just dump that back into the source that you're filtering from, or what you can do is just dump that into another container and use it for cooking or other non-potable uses. But the white hose is the good hose. So setup on this, pretty simple. You have color coding blue and white, and all you do is put the white hose in there, make sure it's nice and snug. Hook up the blue hose. Like I said, this is the waste hose, so it's always good to remember that little detail. Now, the important thing to do is we need to set up our containers, right? So I'm using this darker colored one to make sure that I know the difference between the good water and the wastewater, kind of important. Now, we need our fresh water container. I'll run that in there. Almost forgot, we got to get that sample of the intake water from the rain barrel before, and then we'll do it after, right? So let's get a little sample going here. Don't need a lot. Now, this purity meter, Amazon is your best friend for this. I'll put a link down there in the pinned post in the description, an affiliate link, which I'll make like 50 cents off of. So anyways, very simple how this works. I actually got this on sale for 50% off. So I think it was like $9. But basically, you just turn it on, right? That's it. Whoa, that is... I don't know about you, but I think red is not a good color. Probably. Let's see. It's measuring at 310 ppm. So this will be interesting to see what the measurement is coming out the other side, right? Starting this up is simple, right? The actual entire setup of this is very simple. The only thing that you need to do when you get this in the mail is you'll pop this open and you'll put the filters in, and that's really about it. The only thing I could probably maybe complain about here is there really wasn't much in the instruction manual. I mean, the instruction manual is like 3 pages, super tiny print. And for me, I expected a little bit more, and I expected some direction on how to put the filters in. But what you do is you basically just line up the arrow with the unlock symbol and turn it clockwise and press down, a little bit of force, and you're good to go. So anyways, to start this thing, very simple. Push the button until it powers on. We got a green light, and look, there it goes. I mean, it's already working and doing its thing. Yep, looking good. So the advertised flow rate for this is about 17 fluid ounces per minute. And as you see, we got a lot of water to filter, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how long this takes. And it'll be interesting to see what that water purity is once it's purified, because as I mentioned before, this thing has 2 filters. It has a hybrid filter that takes care of all the sediment and crap like that and rust that's going to come in the water depending on the water source, right? And then it has the reverse osmosis filter that really gets down on the nanoscale and removes all the bad stuff from the water that's going to make you sick and probably kill you. So let's see. I believe actually they advertise as having removed, these filters have the ability to remove 2,000 plus contaminants, which is just wild, right? And look at that. We're almost empty over there. Let's check our flow rate. Yeah, looking good, right? And I am so glad this company, I'm going to try not to butcher the name, ITEHIL, contacted me for this review, because I honestly, like, I said earlier, I thought my water preps were squared away and good to go. And I was just going to rely on my Sawyer Mini. And, I knew something was wrong when I hooked up the Sawyer Mini to the faucet, and I turned on the faucet of the rain barrel. I'm like, wow, we're going to be here for a minute. So, like, that's the great thing about having a YouTube channel with a little bit of reach. I don't have a ton of subscribers, got about 70,000 now. But companies will contact you with products, and I'll tell you right now, straight up, 90% of the people who contact me, I just totally turn it down, because it's either not relevant to what you guys want to see or what I'm interested in, or it's just a garbage product, right? Because I go through a lot of detail before I even get this stuff in the mail. I don't just accept product reviews. I look at what other people are saying about the product. I look at what the reviews are online about the product. The reviews on this are freaking on point. It's got like 50 plus 5-star reviews, and a lot of those reviews really break down in detail. You can call it a case study. I think there was one older gentleman there who was like, man, you know, all I have is like bottled water and that's all I got. And I have to drag it up all these stairs, but with this, I don't have to worry about it anymore. So check it out. Look, woo, doggy, it has emptied out that entire gosh darn container. And here we go. We got pure water. That is looking most excellent. Now, one good thing to note that, as you see here, the amount of water that you intake is not the amount of water that you get out, right? Because this container is nearly full of the wastewater. And this container, you know, I don't really have that much water. So a lot of this water actually is useful. We can still use it. We could boil it and use it. But if you want that clean, perfect drinking water right out the gate, this is about how much you're going to get, which is about 1/3 of one of these containers. So I think this is done. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Cool. Container, empty. Clean drinking water, we got about 1/3 full. And as I said, with this one right here, the wastewater, this is almost entirely full. And this container, yeah, I think this is, this holds 64 ounces. So we have 64 ounces of wastewater. And then we got this. So let's go ahead and do a purity check and see how it turned out. I'm really curious to find out. Okay, I'm just gonna have a taste before I even bias myself with any like purity meter or anything like that at all. I'm just gonna drink it straight up. Yeah, beautiful, love it. I would not know like that this went through this system, right? If I drank this out of a bottle, I would think it's purified water, and yeah, pretty much is, right? And probably better levels of purification than you might get with some bottled water or a filter that you use, like one of those Brita filters or something like that. I don't know, but this tastes good. Let's check the purity. And if you recall, when we checked what we had in this container, which is from the rain barrel, it was reading at like 310. You've got to be kidding me. 24 ppm and the screen is green. So I think that's good from a survival scientist perspective. Green screen versus 310 ppm and big bad red screen. So that's fun and that's normal and all that good stuff. But now we're going to do what I personally think is the most challenging test. Okay. So let's get into it. Let me go ahead and reset my containers and I'll be right back. All right. So filtering out of the rain barrel, water is good to go. But that's not really like a big flex, at least in my opinion. What we can do though, is we can filter something that would make Bear Grylls proud. This is how dedicated I am to my YouTube content. I filled this bottle up with my own urine just to make sure this water filter actually works. So today, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be drinking my own urine and we'll see how it tastes, right? So that's how we get down at the survival outpost. We have our urine, right? You see it? Urine, looking good. Do you remember which hose is the good hose and which hose is the bad hose? Right? Blue hose, bad. And our white hose is the good hose. So I personally have never drank my own urine. So this is going to be fun. So to recap real quick, we did the rain barrel water. We filtered it. It started at 310 ppm. And then on the other side, when it was clean and filtered, it was showing up at 24 ppm, which is just absolutely perfect, right? So now we're going to go with urine into clean drinking water. Let's see what happens. Push the button. Yeah, let's get it. All right. And it looks like it's starting to slurp that urine right on up. Then we're going to see what we get. It's actually going to be interesting to see how much actual clean drinking water we get from, I guess this is a 16-ounce Gatorade bottle. And listen, if you've ever had to use a Gatorade bottle on the road because you didn't want to stop and you wanted to make good time, let me know it in the comments. Yeah, okay. Looking good. How much clean water are we going to get? I am very curious to find out. I have not tested this part of the function of the filter yet. Maybe we don't get any. I don't know. We'll find out. Right now, we ain't got nothing flowing in here. Definitely got a little bit of waste though. I would imagine the majority of what we have in this bottle is probably waste anyways. All right, so the bottle's about half empty, and I have no clean drinking. Oh, there it goes. I'll be happy if it gives me enough clean water to actually test, right? Oh, no! Did I literally just spill urine on the floor? I did. All right, well, whatever. It's okay. I think we got enough in here to test. You know what? Let me get a little more in the bottle. Actually, hold on. Yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have gone ahead and filled up a 32-ounce bottle. But hey, listen, it is what it is. Okay, I'm not perfect, but I think we have enough in here to actually test the purity on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. First and foremost, this is our wastewater, our waste urine, which there's about that much in there. So the majority of it was waste, right? And I guess that shouldn't be too surprising. But let's go ahead and check this. This is really what I'm interested in, right? So this is how much urine, clean water, actually was collected from that 16-ounce bottle. So let's check it. Here we go. Into the urine. And it looks like my urine filtered down is more pure than the water out of the rain barrel. Remember, the rain barrel was 310 and this is 194. So is this safe to actually drink? What are the best TDS level for drinking water? According to the EPA, 500 ppm is the recommended maximum amount of TDS for drinking water. So I could have drank it straight from the rain barrel, but it was very close to that cutoff of 500. Remember, it was 310. But any measurement higher than 1,000 ppm is unsafe. And if the level exceeds 2,000 ppm, then a filtration system may be unable to even properly filter this, right? So ppm of 194 is absolutely safe per the EPA. Anyways, here we go. We are having a drink of my clean filtered urine, and we'll see what it tastes like. And Bear Grylls, listen, bro, you don't have to drink your own urine anymore. All you got to do is talk to the guys at ITEHIL, and they will hook you up. But let's find out how good this is. Okay, yeah, I'm drinking my own urine, and it tastes great. I was definitely a little hesitant at first. But yeah, that's good to go. Yeah, all right. Man, urine never tasted so damn good. I cracked myself up. Yeah, anyways. So let's talk some more uses for this, right? Because I showed you two uses from two sources, the rain barrel and my urine. But let's think about this. It's not an emergency situation, and you just want to make sure you have clean filtered water at home. So what are your options? Well, the first option, like one option that my friend is exploring, is using a under the sink filtration system. He started looking at prices, and he's like, dang, these cost a lot of money. So I actually suggested this to him. Because number one, it's portable. I think it only comes in at like $300, and then there's discounts and all this other kind of crap on it, which is radically cheaper than an under the sink system, which is not portable. So if you're a smart buyer, you're probably going to go for something like this. The other like use for this in a non-emergency situation would just be like, hey, I want to save money. I like buying bottled water, but I don't want microplastics leaching into my body and doing terrible things, and it's bad for the environment and all that kind of stuff, right? So forget about the bottled water and just use this. And this will probably pay for itself in like a few months, depending on how much bottled water you purchase. And then if we just think about one of the most obvious uses for this, off the grid. Let's say you're trying to set up a homestead and you don't have a well dug yet, or there's just no option for a well, right? This is going to be a total game changer for you. Now, a few issues I ran into this. The first time I used it, I didn't read the instruction manual, which is actually like non-existent. Like I said, I was a little disappointed in that. And I didn't read the notes on the back of this. So I waited for like 10 minutes for this thing to go through the self-priming and cleaning function that it does first time use. So I guess that's on me. I should have read that detail and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Why isn't it filtering water? Well, it's doing what it said it would do in like this instruction manual right here. So that was my bad. But I did run into two issues, right? Number one, I tried to filter some other sort, like I did the rain barrel test and all that stuff before I actually filmed it. And for some reason, I don't know if the battery was low on this or what, but the pump would pump a little bit and then it would shut off. It would pump a little bit and shut off. So it would run for like a minute, do okay, and then shut off, right? Now, that was remedied by simply making sure I was fully charged up. So I took it back inside, charged it up, and then you saw the test. It emptied that entire jug into the other jug, no shut off, no problem, right? And I've seen a few people complain about this, right? Now, another point of I guess concern with this filter is the fact that you're probably only going to be able to use this maybe on 2 jugs of water before you maybe have to charge it, right? In my experience, I ran this for about a total of 30 minutes between the self-priming function and then a few of these jugs until it ran out of juice. And I don't really have any point of comparison. Maybe that's good, maybe that's not. But don't expect to run this for hours on end. You're going to get maybe 20, 30 minutes out of a battery charge, which, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, I don't have any point of comparison. The other thing about this is I wish the filter life was longer. You know, the cost of, like sometimes that's where manufacturers will get you. They'll sell you something for a really good price. They'll throw the filters in there, but then when you have to replace the filters, that's going to cost you a little bit. So something else to keep in mind with this, we're not talking about an advertised filter lifespan of 50,000 gallons like the Sawyer Mini. And let's be honest, you really think the Sawyer Mini lasts for 50,000 gallons or 100,000? Probably not. So with that being said, overall, I'm super glad I got my hands on this. When I first got it, though, in the mail, my son looked at it and he's like, oh, it looks like a toaster. And it kind of does. Like, it'd be cool if it was a toaster. I could, like, put some bread in here. But anyways, like I said, I didn't know this thing existed. I didn't know how bad my water preps were lacking until I got this on hand. So the price point on this is good to go. The reviews are good to go. There have been some people with other reviews on YouTube who have reported a few issues. I personally didn't experience anything. Once I got a full charge on this and I read the tiny little instruction manual with the tiny little print, which I wish they would do better with that, everything ran good. And we did the ppm test. We used science to prove that the water coming in was still okay to drink, but not so good, right? And coming out was amazing. And I even was able to drink my own urine. So big shout out to the guys at ITEHIL for providing me this for review. I definitely appreciate it. And this is honestly probably one of the cooler products I've had the opportunity to review. So go check the link in the pin post in the description. You can pick up this water filter on the cheap. And you can also pick up one of these water meters, which I strongly suggest just to have this in your water preps overall. And that's it. I'm done yapping. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.